Right. 3 days, 1. Okay. 22, 23-hour drive. You their dad that was going to go to construction. And um, um, so, 6 days time, set time. So we got so we got
Chad, where do you put Renee? Over here?
Not to do that, it's just not to do anything outside. I mean,
some of the board up. Storm being there. It's got all the storm.
Just got the flags picked up, it's put away.
It's never really mattered, you know.
That's all, I'll keep the batteries on.
Whatever comes from the wall. It's time to me.
Attention and. Stop. Set the flag up.
It's a clock area, yeah. It's Bermuda Triangle and blocks are there. Sign.
See?
Who may come in?
Last set up. I'll start the national website profile. Present. President, all three members are present there for the project and pledge allegiance. We're all standing elected to the moment of silence for the victims of Texas stormwater disaster weekend. Meeting with the first set minutes for the May and June meetings. Have any motions, any changes to motions?
No changes.
The motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Motion to accept.
Motion made by Member Kuzo, second. Second by Member Albright. All those who say aye. Aye. Opposed. Okay. All right, Chad Harmon. You just stepped out. Yeah. Not sure. Some meeting without Shane.
Give him 1 minute. If he's not back in 1 minute, I'll go.
There he is.
I'll just bet to be gone.
Okay, yeah, apologize. I left last month's minutes sitting on my desk. I forgot about that. So, we do have two sets of claims for this meeting, May 9th through June 6th, in the amount of $12,204.85. Probably the only thing out of the ordinary around there is hotel and LTAP conference. So that was yes, April. No?
Was that the?
That was the MS4 conference, actually.
LTAPs.
Yeah. Okay, well, no, so that claim went through on that month, on that bill. So, so the stormwater conference lodging, and then the LTAP conference is actually tomorrow, but that's the registration fee card. So, $12,204.85. If you want to do that one separately, or at the same time. Okay. All right.
Question, Chad, on May. Motion to accept the claims presented for May 9th to June 6th.
Motion to accept May 9th to June 6th, claims as presented.
Motion made by board member Pitts, have a second. Second by board member Albright, all fair say aye. Those opposed.
And then next set is from June 7th to July 3rd. You'll see on there is an amount in there for Regal as far as the downtown project. This is actually our first payment out of the stormwater fund. They were paying down some other fund, the GEO bond is what I was told up to this point. So now from here on out, money will be coming out of the stormwater fund. So, but the only thing left is storm sewer section between 8th and 9th. So,
How to do it. Different sources.
We've got a contingency plan. We think they can be done by Strasbourg. So, we were told from the point they are now, they need 10 days to do all the concrete work. So, there's more than 10 days between now and Strasbourg. So, we'll see. We'll know later this morning what their intentions are. So, anyways, $349,723.83 for June 7th through July 3rd. Any other questions?
Yes, question, Chad, on the claims presented for June to July.
I have none.
Now, the motion to accept the claims presented.
Motion to accept claims for July and presented.
Motion made by board member Pitts, have a second. Second by board member Albright, all should say aye. Those opposed.
So we've already gone through, only storm sewer left is between 8th and 9th Street, the main run that runs down the middle of the street. Anticipating they'll be putting that in next couple of 3 days. So they're stripping out everything down the subgrade between 9th and 8th at this time. Flat work is all done up to the old KFC building, GAB building on the west side, to the south driveway entrance for the parking lot of the Cruiser Business Machine on the east. So majority of flat work's done. Intersection. So
Any other projects in this fall?
we're, as far as stormwater, we're waiting to see how much we have left. We always have potential for lining projects and other things. You know, Jeff is looking at a couple of storm sewers that bottoms have rusted out. We're looking at that. So we'll see where we are at the end of the year. But nothing specific.
Thank you.
So as of July 1st, the city has to have for every appointed member of every board on both the agendas and the notices, and then also on our website, the who made the appointment and board terms, start date and end date of their terms.
We get started, just to review back, last stormwater board meeting, we didn't have a forum, so we're going to go over two sets, anything that needs a motion. I'll be jumping back and forth between June and July's information. On the screen behind you, we'll go ahead and get started with ERUs. We're looking at May's building permits. I think the takeaway here is, we have the ERUs through the center column here, and we have some to be determined. Those are actually calculated on the next one, so those will be seen. Those again, those are for Canterbury. Brian and Lori Murphy is still to be determined, and that's still holding. But if you look down, we have a total of 6 ERUs from the May building permits. But then we also have a demo, and there's demo permits, and when they come across my desk, I also calculate those ERUs. And Gina Bikey on 3495 Clinton Road has turned in a demo permit to demo a barn. Recalculating the ERUs, it's going to be one less ERU, but we're going to approve that pending when she does do the demo. So right now, I believe the barn is still up, but I just want board approval to remove that ERU as soon as she demos the barn. So I don't know, Renee, do we want to make a motion on each or just put them both together?
Same thing.
So if you want to make a motion on this one, I'll bring up the next one.
So, question on Gina, so how many years does she do right now? We take one away.
Yeah, it's been a couple months since I did this calculation. It was 3 or 4. There's a number. I'm trying to remember. Don't quote me on that, but it was more than one, obviously, because I was thinking 2 or 3. It's on Clipper Road. It's the.
Yeah, I know where it's at.
Don't quote me on that. Again, it's been over a month since I did the calculation. If you want to know it, I can recalculate it. Right. I'm going by memory. I thought it was 2 or 3. But again, I can recalculate and give you an exact amount if you would like.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a house and there's 3 other buildings on that property. So
There's a little shit.
there's one behind the house, there's a big barn, and then there's a smaller structure beside the barn too.
Yeah, it was a number of structures. I can give you
Yeah,
exact.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. You want to make a motion on that?
Additional 6 years as presented. Second one, motion made by Robert Coon, second by Albright, all fair say aye. Aye. Opposed?
All right, I switched over to June's building permits. And you can see through the center column, again, the calculations coming up with 6, some that are gonna carry over to be determined. Basically, those are the ones that are still pending. But if you look at the bottom, those are those Canterbury greens from last month. So I have a total of 6 here, and pulling forward the to be determines of 8. If you look over at the far right, it's the 8 plus the 6 is the 14 total. I think the 6 went off my scan. 6 plus 8 is 14. So from June building permits, we have a total of 14 ERUs to be approved.
Did you have 6 others? You made a motion to accept 6 in May. Did we have 6 in May? Plus 6 in May.
Plus the total here, yes. Yeah, my calculations on the far bottom right, the 6 is, it says July building permits. 6 was actually off the screen, they didn't make the. So what I was doing is pulling this 6 here and putting it down here, and this 8 here. And that's a total of 14. My 6 is missing from the scan. Apologize, I didn't see that. But yeah, this is separate from last month. The to be determined are the ones that didn't get calculated because they were on hold.
So what do we,
So here you're approving 14.
14 for
Correct. Correct.
plus 6, so the total.
But you're approving on separate motions.
That on the fair use, Mr. Chairman? I take a motion to accept addition 14 for June.
Motion that 14 ERUs for June as presented.
Motion made by Barbara Kins, have a second. I'll second. Second by Ron Albrecht, all show say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Now I'll get you the exact calculations for Gina Bikey. I did monthly report. I'll just go over the current month because the information is pulls forward anyhow. Again, this is the IDEM monthly report, of which we have 7 permitted sites. So Northridge is probably the most active site, working with Justin Love there. Still, site's doing much better since the violation. It has quite a bit of silt fence correctly put up. The only thing still in question is the base, and I'm working with him to get some information documented on how we want to move forward with that. Park Place is moving along. As a matter of fact, it's got a little activity on the east side that still has some potential from erosion leaving site. University Heights, I sent an email to Brad Eckerly. Again, we were keeping that open because of the potential of the coffee shop, leaving it open. But actually the coffee shop has its freestanding land disturbance permit that's under an acre. So I'm requesting for Brad Eckerly to close that site. Keith Hettinger house was during my inspection this month, actually laying sod and landscaping. So that site is pretty far along. Brookstone 7, we have some activity there, a little bit of dirt on the road. Still some houses we go up there. Archangel has not started. It is permitted. And we did have a meeting for the high school. So they're building onto the north side, adding some classrooms. We did have a TAC meeting there. Brad Eckerly did present. So I anticipated, and there's been plans issued, but not submitted, hasn't fully submitted a stormwater pollution prevention plan to the stormwater board, but it's coming. So we do have some activity on that front. Any questions on the IDEM monthly report? many cases, or some cases, when I present illicit, we jump to illicit discharges, illicit spills. Sometimes I show you minor spills, and in this case, since the last stormwater board meeting, we've had 2 substantial spills, so again, present to you the pictures and our procedures of cleanup and what happened. So this one actually happened at Bush Cutter's Nursery as you're going towards Ireland on the right side of the road. There was a semi truck in the parking lot, and its master cylinder that raised the bed actually busted, and the fluid came out of the cylinder and went into the parking lot. So you can see the amount of fluid that entered the parking lot. It was flowing to one inlet particular. As soon as I got there, they actually had installed the bags there. I put my absorbent around, which I have a picture of since then, but the inlet was protected. Unfortunately, before they got the inlet protection down, a lot of the fluid did enter the drain. The system is it's a closed system, meaning the water that drains from the site goes to a pond. The pond is what they use to water all the plants. So it is a closed system. Now the pipe does flow to the pond, and the pond comes back. So unfortunately, some of the material did make it into the pond. It's a good 200-300 yards away from where it intakes into this inlet. What's working, Kenny Hoaxung was there as well. So Kenny and I coordinated with the owners and personnel working with the nursery. We also did coordinate working with the semi-truck company. Had the semi-truck company call Brad Pope. Brad Pope's crew came, I would estimate around 5 o'clock. It was back there at 5 o'clock in the evening. And what they did is they applied absorbents. So the spill kind of happened around noonish, and we couldn't get a contractor there any sooner. Brad Pope was in the middle of something else, but he did get there around 5 o'clock. The pipe, while I was there, I deployed booms in the pipe through my spill kit. So some of it was trapped into the pipe. What Brad Pope did is applied absorbents to the surface. And then he also, basically where the pipe was going into the lake, he cut it off, dug a hole, and he applied water from this drain, flushing it through the system. Now, normally that's not a good idea because we always want to use dry cleanup methods. But what he did is he used this vac truck to suck it up, and being the pipe was cut off before the lake, it had no chance of getting into the lake. So it was a successful cleanup. Now again, some of it, anytime we have a spill this magnitude, we don't capture everything. The objective is to catch as much as possible, but I think we did that. So it's again this situation. I'll log it as an illicit spill. I think we did the best we could to capture what we could. Any questions? This is what the master cylinder looked like. It's, I'm not a mechanic or anything like that, but it's the mechanism that raises the bed when they dump out whatever material they have in the bed of the semi. And we estimated a total of, I've heard anywhere from 50 to 70 gallons that cylinder. Now, some of it was captured in a bucket, some of it was captured in the absorbents, some of it was captured in Brad Pope's back truck. Now, some of it wasn't captured, so. Any questions? All right, the next was a wreck on South Newton. This was a truck that was driven by Nutrients. It's right down here on Clay Street. Basically, the driver was driving south on South Newton, misread police, the fire department, street department, stormwater department, all responded to this. Anyhow, he was going south on South Newton. I'm just estimating by the scratch and the asphalt, he was going too fast, but it's unofficial by stormwater coordinator, but anyhow, he left a very big scratch damage in the road, and he turned over his vehicle, and all his material went out into the drainage ditch. You can see the amount of material that spread through the course of the accident. It actually started up with a car, and you can see the scuff in asphalt and the material spreading through the area. Ditch. So what we did is coordinated again with the nutrients. We with the police department, fire department, we coordinated with Brad Pope again. He brought his some of his equipment out and basically scooped it out, basically with large scoops, and took all the surface vegetation along with the material. Before the weekend was over, seed and straw was applied, and it was a total, pretty much captured just about a majority of the material. So it was a successful cleanup. Any questions? IDAM updates. Again, speaking with other MS4 coordinators, we're going through a first couple MS4 audits. We have not been notified as far as the city of Jasper, but they are starting. Also updates, the spill response plan and illicit discharge plan. As I mentioned previous months, I am incorporating those during our department inspections I'm working with. So each department has stormwater pollution prevention plan leaders that are documented as the department heads. I'm sitting down with those individuals during these inspections, and we're reviewing those plans. Again, when we generate these plans, I don't want it to be a situation where I take all this time and make these plans and put them in a file and nobody knows about them. So that process is happening now, incorporating these plans, sitting down, breaking down some of those. So not reading it cover to cover, but breaking down sections of it so they're aware, and then telling them, during the winter, whenever they have time to actually sit down and go through some of that information so they're aware. So that's happening now. The Southwest Indiana Stormwater Partnership, we've had our meeting June 18th. We had a guest speaker of Samantha Gorge from BFS Engineering. That's Butler, Fairman, Seifert. She gave a presentation, very general, but good. Again, a lot of review information. But she gave a good presentation, opened up for discussion at the end. So we had some good conversation there. Our next meeting is July 16th, and we're actually going to do that face-to-face at USI, look at some of their features there at USI, some trails and such. And then I think there's a shelter house where we'll sit down and have a meeting. So that's coming up. Some new education material. Again, as we have one of the six middle control measures is public education. Last month I did the hike and learn. Previous month I did the Jasper Middle School. We certainly do Earth Day at Memorial. We do the Home Expo. So a program that we continue to. I even brought one for you guys, so you guys don't get a big payday. Now you can do it. But we also got little coolers, bags, a bunch of water bottles. So when I have these programs, I can get them out. But I thought I'd show them to you so you know what we're talking about. now, 'cause I'm in the middle of the 2025 stormwater inspection dates, what I was telling you with the spill response plan and illicit discharge plan. I do have a number of them complete. I have wastewater complete, electric complete, Buffalo Trace complete, gas and water is complete, at least the inspection portion. And what we're doing there, it's not just only going over those two new plans, but again, we're doing the site inspection. So I'm going out, doing their annual. They do monthlies. We're required to do quarterlies, but for 16 years now, we've been doing monthlies, which is above and beyond what IDEM requires. But I think that's good. I'd rather be above and beyond than not enough. And we also look at their outfalls, do outfall inspections wherever stormwater is leaving their department sites. It's all documented in their plan where those locations are. We also review their stormwater pollution prevention plan. We also review their spill prevention, control and countermeasure plan. Not every department has one of those plans. It's based on the amount of petroleum they keep on site. We also look at their stormwater pollution prevention plan monthly inspection reports, their SPCC monthly inspection reports. We look over their SOPs, basically that's standard operating procedures. I typed up, 5 years ago, a number of SOPs. Each one of them are required to keep that documentation in their files. We incorporate the spill response plan, incorporate the illicit discharge detection elimination plan, and we review all their changes. So I'm halfway through the inspections in this process. We still need to go back and type up the reports, analyze the information, make the necessary changes to make sure we stay in compliance. The good news is, as I meet with all these people, is we've been doing this for so long that the systems at each one of our departments, the secondary containments, whatever BMPs are using at the sites, the spill kits, the designated wash sites, the maintenance areas, all those things are really set in place. So this program is far along, and still we review it every year, what we're doing now, but to analyze where we are as a city of Jasper, I think we're in a good place as far as, and the reason why we do this is when I go out and make other people do things to comply or to comply with ordinances, we need to make sure we hold ourselves at a high standard so that we're not polluting ourselves. And again, when I do these inspections now, we are a lot farther along where we were 15 years ago, that these departments are well protected. The employees there are well educated, and I think we have a good system in place. So we'll continue doing it. I think we're in a good place with this program. LTAP drainage conference, again, as myself and Chad Herman as a professional engineer, and Scott Schnell and Jeff Heising, I'm required to receive training annually. I document, everything I do for the state. I document what I'm doing, but this will be July 7th, which I believe is today. We'll leave and go to, this is at Purdue University. We'll be attending the LTAP conference, drainage conference. We've been doing this every year since I started 16 years ago. It's one of those, it's the MS4 conference is a big one. The LTAP conference is a big one. And NASMA conference, it'll be later. It's actually French Lick this year. That one I usually attend by myself, but that's also another good one I'll be going to this year. But I'm required to receive this training. So and regardless, it's to stay up on compliance information, we got to go anyhow. So it's one of those deals we get educated. We find out what's in the compliance pipeline, which is constantly changing. So this is a good conference. The 4 of us will be going again. It'll be Tuesday, and we'll return late Tuesday night. Real brief from last meeting, since some of you weren't here. The hike and learn was at the farmers market. I gave a hike, also set up a booth, had the watershed model, gave out some of the coolers. I made a deal with the kids that came by. I had a crossword puzzle and I handed out the crossword puzzle, basically said, if you fill out the crossword puzzle, you get a free cooler. They thought that was cool. So again, it's one of those deals where I had some good conversations with people. It's part of our public education program, and we're going to try to make that an annual event. We're going to try to grow it, so we're not only just piggybacking with the farmers market, that people come out specifically for our hikes. We did 3 hikes, so I thought it was a good event. There was a lot of people there to get a lot of good conversations. Also, it's the Jasper Middle School. So basically, again, part of our public education program, targeting the 8th grade science class. I do this every year. My brother's actually the science teacher and athletic director there, so it's an easy partnership with the Jasper Middle School. My mother actually had surgery that day, so my brother went to Evansville and I took over the class. So I had full run of the class. Basically, I give a PowerPoint presentation, a lot of good conversation. I hand out candy. I give extra credit. We actually talk about stormwater. You can actually see the watershed model. It's right in the middle of the class. I have videos, and I've been talking about expanding. I need to review them, but one of the other teachers took some videos. I want to expand YouTube and use it as a training mechanism. Overall, all the science classes, I think that again, the reaction from the kids is good. So again, this is something we'll continue to do annually. All my brothers and sister-in-laws are teachers, so it's actually something and I coach 8th grade basketball, so I enjoy working with the kids. A lot of the kids, I work with Holy Trinity kids, but through the course of the year, basically all year round. Yesterday, I was in the gym with a bunch of kids. I see these kids, they know me because at least on the boys' side, it's fun to see some of the boys I have in the gym, and they know I'm coming, and it's a little exciting. So anyhow, we'll continue doing that.
All of the science classes all day long.
Yeah. Every year. So I jam a lot of information in. I lose my voice. I'm talking the entire time. So my brother knows to have cough drops. It's funny, I go through probably a dozen cough drops trying to keep my voice. So give it to teachers if they're teaching as much or talking as much as they lose their voice every day. Any questions? New education materials. Some other notes from what we were talking about. Jennifer down at the front desk is helping me with some of the structural or some of the details of this particular meeting. We're also having to keep videos on YouTube, and she types them in. She's doing a good job of helping me. So just some things that are changing there. The agenda we talked about. I think that's about it, unless you have questions.
Questions, Chad?
Yeah, I have a question. I just wanted to see if with this charges. We have to call in the contractor. And there's significant amount of material that has to be disposed of, after the bids. So Jasper or some.
So, for instance, South Newton, if you go over the nutrients right now, their material is under tarps at their site. They're going to be responsible for like fixing the road. They're going to be responsible for paying for the contractor to come out. They're going to be responsible for getting rid of the material. The city of Jasper we did deploy a lot of personnel with the fire department, the police department, stormwater department. But after that, we're not picking up those expenses. We're not donating money for their cleanup. For bush cutters, I deployed my spill kit. I did during the issues meeting this week. We talked about recouping some of the costs when I use a spill kit. Maybe $100, but I think it's just not worth the effort, to send the bills. Right. We are not paying that bill. Yeah, we coordinate, so I was talking with Kenny, we wanna be careful. This is the conversation we had is Kenny, we don't want to be the guy that tells the contractor to come, so we're telling bush cutters, here's the phone number, call Brad Eckerly, so that communication between them, so there's no mistake understanding that we're talking, now, we did talk to the semi company, but when it was time to connect them for the cleanup, we didn't want any mistake or idea that the city was gonna pay for this cleanup, so we are cautious there, so that is a good question, but yeah, we're not picking up the tab.
Scott, no, sir. Jeff, this week.
He did text, he couldn't make it, so he didn't notify.
Anybody else? All right. Another old business, other business. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn made by Homer.
Second. All right, all fair say aye. Aye. Suppose.
Make sure you sign both minutes, I think. Greg, you might only be the one signing last month's. I just, okay.